Betty loved her job. Working in a shop had always suited her well. She enjoyed meeting new people every day, chatting with customers, and creating a warm and friendly atmosphere. But there was something else people always noticed about her: her hair. Betty's hair was her pride and joy. It was long, blonde, and curly, cascading down her shoulders in perfect waves. It framed her face beautifully, accentuating her bright blue eyes and warm smile. She often received compliments about it. Customers, co-workers, even strangers on the street admired her golden locks. "You have such beautiful hair," they would say. "It suits you so well." Betty would smile and thank them, feeling a little swell of pride. She had always taken great care of her hair, using the best shampoos and conditioners, brushing it gently every morning and night. It was a part of her identity, something that made her feel confident and beautiful. And she wasn't the only one who loved it. Her good friend Roberto, who owned a hairdressing salon in town, always admired her hair as well. Roberto was an excellent hairdresser. He had been running his salon for years, building a reputation for his skills and talent. Betty often visited him, not just to get her hair trimmed, but also to catch up over a cup of coffee. Their friendship had lasted for years, built on trust and laughter. She enjoyed the relaxing atmosphere of the salon, the scent of fresh shampoo and hair products lingering in the air, and the gentle sound of scissors cutting through hair. One day, after finishing her shift at the shop, Betty felt like chatting and unwinding a bit. It had been a long day, and she wanted some company. She decided to stop by Roberto's salon. When she arrived, she noticed the salon was empty. There were no customers, and Roberto was just sitting behind the counter, flipping through a magazine. "Hey, Betty," he greeted her with a warm smile. "What a nice surprise." "I just felt like catching up. Thought I'd drop by for a coffee," Betty said, settling into one of the salon chairs. Roberto quickly made 2 cups of coffee, and they began chatting about life, work, and everything in between. It felt nice, just the two of them, reminiscing about old times. Betty relaxed in the chair, enjoying the comfort of their friendship. She swirled her coffee, taking small sips, feeling herself unwind after a long day. After a while, Roberto grinned mischievously. "So, are we cutting your hair today?" he asked, half joking. Betty laughed. "No way. You know how much I love my hair. Just a chat today." But Roberto didn't give up so easily. "Come on, Betty. You always look good, but imagine how fresh and stylish you'd look with a new cut." Betty shook her head. "I don't know, Roberto." Roberto grabbed a red hairdressing cape and draped it around her shoulders before she could protest. "Just a trim. Nothing drastic." Betty hesitated but eventually nodded. "Fine, a trim, but just a little bit." Roberto smiled, pleased that she agreed. He brushed out her golden curls, running his fingers through them with admiration. "Your hair really is stunning," he said. "Let's just clean up the ends." The sound of scissors snipping filled the air as Roberto carefully trimmed her hair. Betty watched in the mirror, feeling relaxed. She trusted Roberto, and it felt nice to have her hair taken care of. The rhythmic snipping was soothing, and she let herself sink into the chair, enjoying the moment. But then, after a while, Roberto put down the scissors and picked up the hair clippers. Betty's heart skipped a beat. "Wait, what are you doing?" Roberto chuckled. "Just shaping the back a little. Trust me, it'll look amazing." The clippers buzzed to life, and before Betty could say another word, Roberto ran them up the back of her head. A large section of her golden hair tumbled to the floor. Betty gasped. "Roberto, what are you doing?" Roberto's expression shifted. He had intended to give her a short, stylish cut, but he had gone too high. Now, there was no way to fix it without making it even shorter. "Oh, oh no." Betty's eyes widened as she saw more of her hair falling. "Roberto, stop!" "Betty, wait!" "Stop!" she shouted, tears welling up in her eyes. But it was too late. The damage was done. Almost all of her beautiful curls were gone, replaced by uneven patches of nearly bald skin. Betty reached up and touched her head, her fingers trembling. A lump formed in her throat as the reality sank in. Her hair, her pride, her identity was gone. I didn't mean to, Roberto stammered, looking genuinely horrified. I thought. You thought what? That I wanted to be bald? Betty's voice cracked as tears streamed down her cheeks. Roberto tried to console her. Short hair suits you, Betty. You still look beautiful. I trusted you, she sobbed. How could you do this? Roberto reached out to comfort her, but she pulled away. She ripped off the red cape, sending it flying onto the floor, and stormed out of the salon, tears blinding her vision. The next day at work, Betty couldn't bear to show her bald head. She found a hat and pulled it tightly over her scalp, hiding the damage. Customers noticed something was off, but she avoided their questions. She felt humiliated, betrayed. She refused to answer Roberto's messages. He called, he texted, he even showed up at the shop once, but she refused to see him. She spent hours in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection, barely recognizing herself. She ran her fingers over her smooth scalp, the sensation foreign and unsettling. Days turned into weeks, and Betty's anger didn't fade. Every time she looked in the mirror, she felt a pang of sadness and rage. She had lost more than just her hair. She had lost trust in her friend. She avoided places they used to go together, unwilling to risk running into him. One day, months later, Roberto showed up at her shop. Betty saw him through the window but turned away, pretending she didn't notice him. He stood there for a moment before finally walking away. As she watched him leave, she felt a hollow ache in her chest, knowing that some friendships, once broken, could never be repaired. That night, she finally let herself cry again, feeling the loss of not just her hair, but also of a friendship she once treasured. The pain lingered, but so did the strength she had gained through it all. She might have lost Roberto, but she would never let herself be hurt like that again.